Wind energy ordinance becomes effective whichever occurs first. Section 5, vitality, validity, and severability. Should any portion of this ordinance be found invalid for any reason, such holding shall not be construed as affecting the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. Section 6, repealer clause. Any ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed only to the extent necessary to give this ordinance full force and effect. Section 7, effective date. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon termination of the moratorium ordinance on September 23, 2011, provided it is first published as required by law. And then, to go along with that, is the resolution adopting an ordinance number 33, imposing a moratorium on the issuance of permits, licenses, or approvals for wind energy systems. At a special meeting of the Board of Raga Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, held at the Township Hall in said township on the 22nd day of August 2011 at 7 p.m. It has a space for present, absent, and who makes a motion and who seconds it. Whereas Public Act 246 of 1945, Michigan Compiled Laws 41.181, as amended, authorizes a township board to adopt and amend ordinances that regulate the public health, safety, and general welfare of persons and property, and to codify such ordinances. And whereas on July 6, 2011, and pursuant to the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act 2006, Public Act 110, the township adopted ordinance number 32, an amendment to the 1974 zoning ordinance of Raga Township as amended, the wind energy ordinance. And whereas the wind energy ordinance has not yet taken effect because on July 14, 2011, the township received a notice of intent to file a petition seeking a referendum on the wind energy ordinance. And on August 10, 2011, petitioners filed a petition signed by a number of registered electors residing in Raga Township of not less than 15% of the total vote cast for all candidates for governor at the last preceding general election at which a governor was elected, with the township clerk requesting the submission of the wind energy ordinance to the electors for their approval. And whereas on August 15, 2011, the township clerk determined that the petition was adequate and verified the signatures on the petition. And whereas on August 22, 2011, the township board adopted a resolution submitting the wind energy ordinance to the electors at the election on November 8, 2011. And whereas the township has determined that imposing an additional moratorium for a limited temporary basis is in the best interest of the public health, safety, and general welfare of persons and property, and is reasonable and necessary in order to allow time for the submission of the ordinance to the electors at the election on November 8, 2011. And if the referendum is successful, allow time for the township to review and implement alternative regulations. And whereas the township board has determined that adopting an ordinance to impose a moratorium on the issuance of permits, licenses, or approvals for wind energy systems attached here to as Exhibit A, that's what I already read, is in the best interest of the public health, safety, and welfare of the township residents. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Raga Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, as follows. Number 1, ordinance number 30, that was number 30, and this one will be, the old was number 30, this will be number 33. Ordinance number 33, an ordinance to impose a moratorium on the issuance of permits, licenses, or approvals for wind energy systems attached as Exhibit A is hereby adopted. Number 2, the township clerk, in accordance with Michigan Compiled Laws 41.184, shall publish either a true copy or a summary of the ordinance once in a newspaper of general circulation in the township within 30 days after adoption. Number 4, any and all resolutions that are in conflict with this resolution are hereby repealed. And that makes the space for the vote.
Any questions or discussions on the link? 180 days and when it starts. I understand that. Anybody like to make a motion that we accept this as presented?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All right, then all in favor of adopting ordinance number 33, resolution moratorium, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, the same. And Dick, you're abstaining again. Okay. That motion passed. Is there any other business anybody would like to discuss or comments? Stand up right there.
Okay, I just wanted then, when the vote goes on November 8th, if we're in favor of the ordinance as passed, we vote yes. And
I can't tell you that.
If you agree with the ordinance, if you agree with ordinance number 32, you vote yes. If you don't agree with ordinance number 32, you have to vote no.
that was
It says it's your turn to vote. You're voting
Right.
on the ordinance, just like the township board voted. Do you want the ordinance, or don't you want the ordinance?
right.
Arlene, there's some latecomers. Would you mind reading the language that would be on the ballot? Just
I can read that.
Yeah.
That's quick. Just the ballot language. Let me find it.
Right here. Not this one. No, it's-
When I get the right sheet of paper here, this is the one, submitting it to the electors. The ballot language would read, Raga Township zoning referendum. Shall the Raga Township zoning ordinance be amended as described in the Raga Township zoning amendment ordinance number 32 to allow regulations on wind energy systems within Raga Township, yes or no? So the vote is on the ordinance.
right.
Any other comments?
If you don't want it changed, you say no.
If you like the ordinance, you vote yes. If you don't like the ordinance, you vote no.
Read it again, please. See, you could.
Shall the Riga Township zoning ordinance be amended as described in the Riga Township zoning amendment ordinance number 32 to allow regulations on wind energy systems within Riga Township?
This will, it'll all be published. It'll be on the website.
Yeah.
It'll be published in the paper.
How long before the election is it published?
Well, I will have this up on the website within 10 days. I have to do that. It'll be published in the newspaper as for all elections. I will have copies available for people who want copies. So there's no intent to keep it a secret, to keep it away from people. I'm sure there's going to be others who are going to be encouraging you to vote one way or another. But basically what it is, it's your opportunity to vote on the ordinance that we adopted, or that we voted for. It's your turn to vote now, not us, your turn. You vote yes if you like it the way it is, and no if you don't like it. If you like the regulations we have, 500 feet tall, 4 times setbacks, sound measured from property lines of non-participators, those are some highlights of it. If you like that, then you vote yes. If you don't like that, you vote no.
I know I'm redundant, but remember, everybody doesn't take the newspaper. Everybody does
Well,
not.
all I can say for that is we have a website. I have copies available. We have our phone numbers published. There's a township mailing address that's been the same for over 30 years. It's always been Post Office Box 25. So, and there does come some responsibility on the voter. I'm sure that there's going to be notices, there's probably going to be yard signs. I don't know, I'm not making any. The township can't do that, but I bet there's going to be some yard signs to give people an idea something's going on.
We've ordered 2.
May I ask one other question?
Yeah.
Why was not tonight's meeting placed on the board out front instead of just on the little paper on the window? I
Well,
thought,
because-
don't tell me the board is full, you could have taken
No,
something
I'll
else.
tell you why, because that's not my job. And I posted it as was
Whose job is
required.
it?
The custodian does that.
Oh my gosh, I better have a speak with them, right?
Yeah. And this meeting wasn't called, only, actually Jeff was out of town. And he's the person who has to call the meeting. So I left him a message that we needed to have a meeting so that we would have time to get this done and to the county clerk in time. And he said, and when I talked to him on Thursday, so I posted it on Thursday night.
And you told me last Tuesday night that there was a meeting, and you did not have
I told you
time-
that I expected, it wasn't called yet though, ma'am.
But you had time to contact the custodian, so it could have been out front.
Oh, I'm sorry, I made a major mistake. But you found out about it, didn't you?
Well, that's just because I took the opportunity to stop and talk to you.
And 30-some other people found out about it too.
Not through,
That's what the
not
board
through
is
the
for.
township's efforts, though. I drove by here every day looking.
Well, it went to, on the website, and there should have been
I
an
went
email
on the
going out.
website.
Did
Not
the
on the
email go
It's on
out?
the website.
It's not on the
It's
website.
not on the website.
It's not on the
Under special
website.
announcements.
Well, then I'll have to talk to the webmaster.
Yeah.
Because I did do that.
Right, it didn't make it.
It didn't come out.
I
Nope.
didn't see it on the website.
We got the
That's where I
email.
found out.
Was it on the website?
That's where I found out about it.
Oh, see, somebody says it is, and
It
somebody
was
says it
not
isn't.
on the website.
So, well, she says
Under
she's found it.
special announcements, it says, on the homepage, it says, look on special announcements for tonight's announcement. It was not on there.
I didn't find it on the
I got
website.
the email.
I'd like to direct this to the board and Jeffrey. Meetings, I've had the opportunity to go to Palmyra. I don't usually get into other people's politics, but I went up there, I got a phone call that someone was handing out flyers and about a meeting with someone else. So I went to the meeting for about 15 minutes and I watched the meeting. The meeting, there was no, it was a civil meeting. There was none of this. It was, if you called on a person, they talked, it never got out of control. It was a controlled meeting. And I plead with the board to keep these meetings civil, because you're turning people off, they're not showing up to these meetings, because they're turned off to all the negativity that's going on in these meetings.
Excuse me, sir, what is wrong with my asking why it wasn't posted on the board? I think I have a perfect right to ask that.
He didn't say that he wasn't talking to you.
I directed my question to the board,
He wasn't commenting.
my statement.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Yeah.
Let's say the vote on this, that we're gonna vote here is, we do not want the rule is posted. Can there be, can this just keep going on and on? Okay. I want to make sure that's my understanding.
Yeah.
And I disagree with Mr. Whatever. I've been to every meeting here, and I think they've been very well controlled. If there's been anything I think has turned the people off, it's having the, and I don't know why the state police and the sheriff's department has to show up to our little township meetings.
Anything else?
I was curious to see the wording of the petition that was circulated.
Oh, I have that. Can I read that to you?